On the 6th of December 2004, in a small suburban bedroom in Saddle Brook, New Jersey, a 19-year-old college student sat down before a primitive webcam, queued up an upbeat Romanian-language Eurodance, single by way of a small consumer audio editor, and proceeded, entirely alone, in private in the modest privacy of his parents' home, to perform the song's chorus with a sequence of exuberant facial expressions and hand gestures conducted from the shoulders up. He recorded the performance of roughly 90 seconds in duration and uploaded it that evening to a small entertainment website. He did this, in his own subsequent account, entirely for his own amusement. He had no expectation that anyone outside his immediate social circle would ever encounter the video. He had not seen anyone else doing anything similar. By the following weekend, his 90-second performance had been viewed more than 2 million times. By the end of the calendar year, he had become, and the term is not a metaphor, the single most watched amateur video performer in the entire short history of consumer-grade webcam video. Let us first attend to the underlying musical recording. The song was titled Dragostea din Ti, which, in Romanian, translates approximately as Love Among the Linden Trees. It had been recorded and released in mid-2003 by a Moldovan boy band consisting of 3 young men. The track was a piece of energetic Eurodance, structured around an instantly memorable, synthesized hook, with a vocal line that consisted, for considerable stretches, of phonetic syllables rather than lexical content. In particular, the repeated phrase, ma, Aya-hi, ma, aya-ho, ma, aya-ho, ma, aya-ha. By the autumn of 2004, the song had become a chart hit across much of continental Europe, but had received almost no airplay in the United States or the United Kingdom. It was, to the New Jersey teenager who would shortly perform it, an essentially anonymous import, a song he had stumbled across by his own subsequent account, while browsing for unusual European pop music on a small audio-sharing site. On the evening of his recording, the teenager, whose name was Gary Brolsma, queued up the song on his computer, opened the bundled webcam capture utility, and proceeded to perform the song from his desk chair. His performance has been examined, frame by frame, by an entire generation of internet enthusiasts. Allow me to describe it in formal terms. The performer is seated in a swivel chair. He is wearing a casual orange long-sleeved shirt with a small graphic on the chest. He is wearing a pair of large headphones. His head and shoulders fill the frame. His arms are visible from approximately the elbows up. At no point during the 90 seconds does he stand, walk, or display anything below the level of the desk. He lip-syncs the chorus with deliberate exaggeration. He performs a series of small hand gestures matched to the song's emotional beats. A flourish here, a clenched fist there, a sudden wide-eyed look toward the camera. He shrugs, he grimaces, he grins, he raises a single eyebrow. He performs, in short, with the complete commitment of a person who is entirely unaware that anyone other than himself is going to see what he is doing. At approximately 10 in the evening of the 6th of December 2004, Mr. Brolsma uploaded the 90-second video to a small humor website that specialized in user-submitted flash animations. He titled it Numa Dances, a transliteration of one of the phonetic phrases from the song's chorus. He did not promote the video. He did not share it widely. He simply submitted it. The video was promoted to the site's front page on the 8th of December. By the 11th of December, it had been viewed approximately 2 million times. By the 21st of December, it had crossed 7 million. By the end of January 2005, it had been seen, by the best estimates of the time, by more than 20 million distinct individuals. To place that figure in historical context, this was approximately 1 in every 10 internet users in the United States, reaching the video within roughly 50 days of its original upload, without any algorithmic recommendation system whatsoever, propagated entirely by email forwards, message board reposts, and word of mouth. This was, by a substantial margin, the first amateur internet video to achieve genuinely mass-scale audience reach in the United States. It predated the founding of the dominant modern video sharing platforms by several months. It predated the founding of nearly every social network, now associated with viral video, by years. It demonstrated, for the first time, that a single amateur performance recorded in a teenager's bedroom could, without any institutional promotion, reach tens of millions of strangers within weeks. What made this particular 90-second performance so disproportionately successful, given the thousands of similar webcam performances posted by other young people in the same period, several elements deserve attention. First, the song itself. The Romanian Eurodance track was, to an English-speaking audience, both instantly catchy and entirely unfamiliar. The performer was lip-syncing to phonetic syllables that the viewer could not parse but could, with very little practice, learn to imitate. The song was, in effect, a portable melody that the viewer could carry away from the experience and reproduce in unrelated contexts. Second, the absolute commitment of the performer. Mr. Brolsma performed without the slightest trace of self-consciousness. He did not, in the manner of so many subsequent amateur performers, gesture ironically toward the absurdity of his own activity. He did not appear to acknowledge that he was being filmed. He simply performed with full, unguarded enthusiasm. A song he genuinely enjoyed. Third, the format constraints of the period. In late 2004, the bandwidth limitations of average home internet connections meant that videos circulated almost exclusively in small file formats, viewed on small player windows embedded in browsers. The video's tight framing, a single performer from the shoulders up, survived the resolution limitations of the period far better than would a more expansively staged performance. The format and the medium happened to be perfectly matched. The consequences of mass virality in late 2004 were unprecedented and largely uncharted. Mr. Brolsma had no model for what to expect. No previous amateur performer had been confronted with the experience of being recognized in public by tens of millions of strangers. He responded, by all accounts, with a mixture of mild embarrassment and quiet bewilderment. In the months that followed, Mr. Brolsma declined a number of high-profile media opportunities. He turned down invitations to appear on major American talk shows. He retreated to the extent that retreat was possible from the public attention his video had generated. His stated reasons, in the limited interviews he did give, were modestly philosophical. He had not, he explained, anticipated becoming a public figure. He had recorded a performance for his own amusement. He had not expected the world to follow him through the door of his bedroom. He later returned to performing, producing, in 2006, a follow-up video titled Numa, a more elaborately staged sequel that earned its own modest viewership but never approached the original's reach. He has, in the intervening 2 decades, occupied a position of quiet semi-celebrity, appearing on the occasional documentary about the history of viral video, but otherwise maintaining a private adult life as a software developer. What did this 90-second performance accomplish in the deeper historical sense? More, I think, than is generally appreciated. First, the performance established, by example, the template of the bedroom webcam viral video. Every subsequent format that would dominate amateur internet video, the reaction video, the cover song, the dance challenge, the explanatory monologue, the short-form vertical video performance, all owed something to the proof of concept demonstrated by a young man in an orange shirt in December 2004. He had shown that the bedroom was a valid stage, that the cheap webcam was a valid camera, that the amateur, performing for his own amusement, could find an audience of millions. Second, the performance established the structural beat that would come to define the genre. One performs to a known piece of music. One performs in a tight head and shoulders frame. One commits unreservedly to the performance. One does not, in the moment, acknowledge the camera. 20 years later, these constraints remain the dominant structural form of amateur internet video. Third, and perhaps most enduringly, the performance demonstrated what is now sometimes called the principle of self-amused authenticity. The performer who is enjoying himself in unguarded earnest is the performer whom strangers most consistently wish to watch. The performer who attempts to manufacture an appearance of self-amusement, by contrast, is reliably less successful. The principle is simple, but it has proven extraordinarily difficult for many subsequent performers to actually achieve. So, consider, in summary, the modest miracle of December 2004. A 19-year-old in New Jersey performs a Romanian Eurodance, single in his bedroom, alone. For an audience of 1, he uploads the video to a small humor website. Within 50 days, 20 million strangers have watched it. He has, without intending to, invented the structural form that 20 years of subsequent amateur internet video will continue, with only minor variations, to refine and reproduce. One feels, in surveying this trajectory, a particular kind of admiration. Mr. Brolsma did not set out to influence the entire subsequent development of amateur internet video. He did not theorize the principles he would later be credited with establishing. He simply performed, with unguarded enthusiasm, a song he liked for himself, in his own bedroom, one cold December evening before going to bed. Ma, I-a hi. Ma, I-a who. Ma, I-a ho. Ma, I-a ha.